I talk to parents all the time who ask me what they should start their preschoolers and their kindergartners with off in homeschool. And today I am going to answer that question. Who am I? I'm Jacqueline. This is Homeschool Hangout.xyz, and I'm a veteran homeschooler of 17 years. And I'm here to help share tips, tricks, help you homeschool with peace of mind and confidence for your children's future. If I can help you, there are links to everything down in the bottom as far as where to find me. Homeschool Hangout .xyz on a lot of things. You can even buy me a coffee if I help you out. All that said, the advertising over, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is tell everyone to take a deep breath. There is no magic formula to make a kid who does X or is good at Y. I also want to remind you about time studies. There have been time studies out that say 30 minutes of concentrated schoolwork equals a first grade's school day. So don't feel tied to specific books, specific times, or anything like that. But that said, it still would help you guys to have, a direction. I know, I remember being there. And I always say for preschool, kindergarten, first grade, you basically have just a couple academic objectives to me. And that is to get your kid ready to read or reading, depending on where they're at in the spectrum, get them going with some basic math concepts and work on their hand-eye coordination. That'll help them write, that'll help them do art, that'll help them in just about everything. So to that end, I really only recommend 2 core subjects. Now, I'm not saying this is all you can do, but this is kind of the core. I really like this is the Singapore Math US edition. US edition's important because we use dollars and we don't have as many U's in our words. So they have a 2-book kindergarten set, and I really like it because this is a new one my kids never used. I had some extras. Not only does it help do things like, let's look at this one. This is in the very beginning. Join those things that are the same. So the balls, this kind of stuff. It attacks math from a mentality that will set them up to think algebraically years down the road. And so I love this. So like I said, this is early bird kindergarten. There may be a total of 4 possible books you can use. I think we only really ever used 2. Some of these things are color the things for a girl yellow, color the things for a boy green. There is a little bit of that, but I'm going to be honest, you're going to get a little bit of that in any curriculum. And so the other thing is, remember, you homeschool. You can modify these instructions however you want. And let's be very clear. Your preschooler probably can't read that. So if you see that in any curriculum at any age, feel free to just cross it out. But I like, color the bigger car. They get into the comparisons. And then they get into the math concepts. We loved this. We actually use Singapore Math all the way up to technically 6th grade with Singapore Math, and then they have an additional junior high algebra geometry set. So we use them all the way up to algebra 2. So I really, really recommend this. If this doesn't work for you, trust me, there's other options, but we really liked this. It was visual. It got them thinking logically, all that good stuff. And then reading. To me, reading is the key to education because through reading, you can read books about math. For reading, you can read books about any other subject and learn anything else you might want to know. So for me, reading, what is it? They used to say reading is essential or whatever. What we liked for all of our kids is get ready for the code, get set for the code, and go for the code. We also did things like Bob books, things like that too. Don't get me wrong. Lots of reading with your kids. But we really liked this, and it's considered the primer for the Explode the Code series. So these are their pre-reading books that are very pre-reading. And I have some extra copies because we bought some on sale. So you're going to, of course, deal with your letter tracings. You're going to deal with, listen, then follow the directions is what it says. But circle the F things, fish, foot, fork, fan, things like that. You're going to get into some of these things. Color each picture whose name begins with K, as in kite. And this needs just a little bit of parental help because clearly they're not reading, so they can't read the instructions. So, but everything is really laid out here. Now, for workbooks, once you're through these 3, there are more. There is then Explode the Code 1, Explode the Code 2. I think they go up to like 6 books. We stopped after about 1 or 2. Once my kids were fluently reading, we stopped, but feel free. You have these are great, and it's like X the same word. So it literally fan, can. So it helps them see that patterning. These are not blank. You can tell my children have never had good handwriting. My rule was I just need to be able to read it. So I like these. I'm a phonics girl. You can use things like first language lessons, and I can do a full review on that if you like. That really starts in 1st grade, but I will warn you, that is very parent involved. And it's not, the one I have at least is not a workbook. But for me, academically, you're good. Read to them lots of books. But of course, if you're like me, that wasn't everything that I wanted to do with my kids. I got those super cheap workbooks from Dollar Tree, Target, the big thick pre-K books from Costco. If you're just looking for workbook stuff to do with them, if you want more writing, more dexterity. And then you can also always get like activity books. I'm not a super creative parent. This was a cute one that was recommended, I believe, in The Well-Trained Mind. Green thumbs. But it actually helps you like talk about, different gardening stuff. Garlic spray. Soapy spray doesn't get rid of the pest. Here's a recipe for cooking up a stronger mixture. Things like that. How to create compost. How to do things like this. And this goes all the way kind of through elementary school. So you can get books like this. The other part is sometimes, especially if you have children that are older, sometimes you just want them to do an activity. And I always recommend keeping certain activities as special if you homeschool other children. But these other activities I highly recommend are good for building dexterity, which will be needed for writing. So, and some of these are actually writing. So to start really young, I've talked about this before, you can tell I use a ring light right there. You pick these up with the magnet, you pull them over, and you drop them. Now you can create gorgeous art, but it also comes with an entire pack of these cards. So you can match the patterns. And I love them. It's a little magnetic thing. This is great for on the go. This is great when brother and sister are at a lesson or a sport or something like that. Love them. To get into more writing stuff, you can get all types of reusable stuff. I'll be honest, this one is bilingual and I picked up at Walmart on clearance for $3 years ago. And it's practicing your letters. And all you need, I believe, is a dry erase pen for this one. Yeah. Or erasable crayons. Because in reality, if you buy a finite workbook, they're going to blow through it. They're going to be done. They're great. They're cheap. I've done it. But I really like these reusable ones better. I also like these groove books. They did not have these when my kids were younger. And I wish they did. And so this is, well, let me show you the youngest one first. This is just drawing. And they use erasable pens, the friction pens, or a friction facsimile. And I don't know if you can see it in here, but there are literal grooves here. And so they can just trace around. And on the back, these aren't grooved. They're only grooved on one side, but you can erase them. And so this will help set them up for writing. And then they can move over to the alphabet one. And they can move over to the numbers. They have numbers. And then this set I have specifically, I'll link down below, is got 2 more books. It's got addition, subtraction, and it's got, I believe it's multiplication and division. So a little advanced for this age. but it doesn't hurt to give it to them. It really doesn't. It does not hurt to expose them early. So these, not only do you get to learn the numbers, you actually can write the numbers. And these are grooved to trace. So I love these. It doesn't have to be hard. Find the things that interest you and your children that you'll want to do together. I also really recommend cooking, maybe not all the time, but cooking with your children, letting them watch you and talk through it. I'm not even saying they got to get their hands in there. I understand kids are messy little urchins, but my 20-year-old, who for her bona fides on, it's not me, it's God, but having successful children, she did 2 years of calculus in high school, 2 semesters of calculus, and finished all her college math in high school. She does not remember a time when she didn't know fractions. I don't remember like teaching fractions. I would just, okay, we're going to cut this apple up. Now I have 4 kids, so that makes fractions really even there. And she didn't know how to use all the fractions. She remembers learning that. But the concepts, you talk them through regular life. That's it. Preschool does not have to be stressful. View it as a continuation of their toddlerhood. Just like in their toddlerhood, you were teaching them how to walk and talk and take care of themselves by using the bathroom, things like that. Those are huge things that most preschool programs will include. Those are things kindergarten will include. So just look at it as a continuation of your parenting, maybe with a few more tools and tricks in. And make learning fun. Don't set yourself up to fight for the next 12 years. I'm not saying never make them do something they don't want to do, but make sure that learning doesn't become a burden. Read with them, read with them, read with them. Those are my recommendations. What are your favorite kindergarten and preschool tools and tricks? I will talk to you guys later. Bye.